Okay, this lecture is just a couple of interesting things about body language. And also, by the way, where does this all come from? I give a lot of lectures to medical students, I give lectures to residents, I give lectures to attending physician doctors, and of course, I do this YouTube stuff. Also, I've written a bunch of stuff. Like this was a real fun book called Rhyme, Rhetoric, and Logic. And this includes public speaking and, of course, writing and all that. I got over 800 videos of this YouTube channel. So the reason I say is I got tons of experience with all this stuff. And I wanted to get good at it. When I was starting out, my friends used to make fun of me that I was screwing up too much. And I learned a lot from that. How to write better, present better. It used to be presentations were in person, and it was more important to have good body language, to be something like Brian Tracy. Nowadays, most things are video. So about all the things you can see is just, the hands a little bit. I like this guy, Mark Bowden. Mark Bowden has a really good TED Talk, and he talks about the three hand positions. So the most common hand position is right about your umbilicus level and with your palms facing the person. And he calls this the truth plane. And I notice that when I consent a patient for procedures, I always have my hands like this. I don't think about it. It just instinctually happens. And he says the reason is you're showing that both your hands are empty, that you don't have a weapon. You're showing them your palms, okay? You also have your open body language with your hands away from your center of your body. So you are exposing yourself, making yourself vulnerable. And it's a sign of trust. I trust you. You can trust me, okay? He says you don't want your hands up here because except for special moments like the climax of a topic. That he calls this the passion plane. If you just put your hands up here when you're excited to make a point, that's fine. But if they're up here more than that, it's a little scary, or you may be doing something aggressive. It's not natural. People think you're crazy. So they only come up there for the special moments. You don't want them down low. This is the fig leaf position in the middle. By the side, it's sort of a dull position. So, or the grotesque plane, he calls it, if it's below your waist. And anyways, that's true. You hear about the different types of smiles. Anybody can make a little fake smile with their mouth, but if you're smiling with your eyes, it usually is a more natural, true smile. It's called a Duchenne smile. And the basic two types of body language are they open or closed. So closed body language is when they're putting their hand over their mouth or their nose, speaking no evil, saying no evil. If they got their hands closed in front of you, that's closed body language, that they're skeptical of what you're saying. It could also be the case they're just cold, but they're skeptical until proven otherwise. And the relevance of picking up on that quick is, if you're trying to persuade or sell something or convince them of something, if they're going like this and this, it means you're probably not succeeding. And it also can be kind of fun to just bring it up. It could also mean they just want to get out of the conversation and they're sort of politely standing there, but they don't really want to talk to you. And the other thing I think is kind of funny, if you work in a corporation or something, you'll see, in general, men get less attention than women do. And what I'm getting at here is women, they're busy. They got stuff to do, and they don't want every nice guy loser in town coming up to them and talking to them and starting a stupid conversation. So it's kind of funny. You'll see women will walk around, staring at their cell phone, making it damn well clear they're not interested in talking to anybody. Whereas a guy who's been sitting in a cubicle for the last couple of hours and is bored, he'll walk around the hallway, hey, anybody to talk to? So that's kind of funny. Anyways, so that's really some key points on body language. It just, the hand gestures, even though they might seem insignificant, they tend to liven things up. It's a lot of fun sometimes. You talk to an Italian person with a lot of hand motion. It can be kind of funny. I, of course, love watching the comedians. The comedians are really the best speakers because that's why they're so funny. And, Eddie Murphy's always walking around doing imitations of people. Sam Kinison as well. So if you want to be a more entertaining speaker, watch the best comedians. They're really good at voice change and all that stuff, too. I also read this book recently called Pitch Perfect by a guy named Bill McGowan. It's a kind of a long book, goes into probably way more detail than most people would want. But he did say a lot of good things. And one thing I liked, he talked about if you're being interviewed and you're talking to somebody, he says, if you're, somebody who kind of has a selfish attitude, all they're thinking about is what they're going to say next, and they're not even paying attention to the other person, he says they end up in a BRF, which he calls a bitchy resting face. Versus, if they're enthusiastic, like they're talking to a friend, best friend face, more of a real smile, Duchenne smile, real interest. And that is better. So, anyways, this is just one of the many parts of all my presentation lectures. So I've just shared that with you. I got a whole bunch of other ones that we each covering different parts of this. And I'll say one thing too. I just watched some videos of these like Hollywood guys talking about how they think a story should be told or a script should be made. And I'll tell you my opinion, I think Hollywood stinks. I don't like Hollywood at all. I haven't been to a Hollywood movie in probably 25 years because I think they just pretty much always stink, and TV always stinks. And what I mean by that is, here's just a typical thing this guy would say. He says, oh, for a good story, the hero should have some problem, some wound, and even though the hero might be a bad person, we like them because we know how much they suffered. What I'm trying to say is this whole victimology mentality. Like he talked about Sopranos and the Tony Soprano guy, because his mother didn't like him, he said then that was acceptable, that he was like, this terrible person. And it's like, I don't like that. This whole victim wimpy. No, a man should. Everybody's got problems and sad stuff in their life, but you say a man should, despite all that, be the best he can be and be a good man. There's sort of this. The old Hollywood was much better. I liked it back in the old days, in 1960s and 70s and stuff. You had all these like real heroes you admired: Charlton Heston, and Sylvester Stallone, and the other great ones. Anyways, we'll just leave it at that.